The latest on the conditions in Salem as far as evacuations and the flood conditions on the streets, Barbara?
Yes. We expect and have been advised here that we'll have a crest at the Willamette about 9 at 37.3 feet. We currently are still underway with 2 evacuations, one in the West Salem area. These are recommended evacuations. In the area bordered by Elm and Kingwood to the river, and one in North Salem out towards the North River Road Park area, which is just south of the Kaiser evacuation area.
Barbara, once again, the latest information you have on when the river will crest, 9 a.m. tomorrow?
Oh, midnight tonight.
Okay, midnight tonight.
At 37.3 feet.
Okay, I wanted to clear that up. Midnight tonight at 37.8 feet. Barbara, what would you like the residents in Salem, what are some of the advice you'd like to give them tonight?
Well, we'd like to continue to encourage them to work with their neighbors and be safe, but we would also like them to encourage them to volunteer at the shelters. They can call the local Red Cross, or starting at 8 tomorrow morning, they can call our volunteer coordination number at 588-6172.
Barbara, repeat the number if you would, please.
Our number starting at 8 a.m. in the morning is 588-6172.
Barbara, Paul Lindman with you now. Tell us about the recommended evacuations. We've been putting them on the air, giving the street information as well as geographic and map information. Are people heeding your advice and leaving to the best of your knowledge?
To the best of our knowledge, our police department has also been in the area, I believe, since late this afternoon, and have been advising the neighbors, and of course we have quite a bit of personnel in those 2 areas working with those neighborhoods directly.
Okay.
Oh, Barbara Roberts from the city of Salem. We're with you here in Portland. I know you folks are having an awful lot of problems down there, and we'll be switching back to you as more information comes in. So folks out there urged to, thank you, Barbara, folks out there urged to volunteer. Barbara says, please help us. Volunteer, call that number in the morning and help out. The Red Cross needs your help down there.
The lady that Leah Hope spoke with as we look at the tugs working under their bright lights out on the Willamette River makes a good point. I think we do a service, Jeff, when we show video of people out helping and young people and teenagers and athletic teams, and it kind of motivates others to get involved, especially young people who may not have a lot of experience with volunteerism. So there is some good things happening in a major crisis like this one. Bob High is down on the waterfront monitoring the activity you're looking at on your screen. Bob, tell us about it.
Paul, the irony of this picture, a tugboat, and you see the traffic going behind, almost beneath the tugboat, is an image you don't see very often here in Portland. That just shows you just how high the Willamette River has gotten here in the downtown Portland area. The traffic on the off-ramp of the freeway going southbound on Interstate 5 is incredible. The river incredibly high. Swing around if you would, Mike Fusey, my photographer, and we'll show you the power of the river here. First of all, you can see how deep it's gotten. This was the step we were on when we first got here. That's how deep the river has gotten in about, I guess an hour and a half since we've been here. If you take a look out at the railing that protects this part of the waterfront at Salmon Street Springs, if you're familiar with the railing, that's how high the water is, and look at the water come pouring through the railing. We didn't see this earlier. Before it was pretty placid, just rising. Now you can see the current coming through the railing. We're going to swing around here and show you one more thing. And in addition to the water that we have here, take a look around here, and we'll show you one of the other problems that they're having. And this is for the dock that holds the Portland Spirit ship. If you're familiar with it, this normally goes down to where the ship is. They're fearing now this dock at a cost of $70,000 will likely sometime either tonight or early tomorrow morning simply break away. It has about a foot left to go before the rings that hold it in place. It rises above the posts that are holding it into place. Once that happens, there's only some small tethers holding it into place, and after that they figure it will likely sink, flip over, make a loud crash, and it will be gone probably for a long, long time if they ever find it again. That's the situation down here along the seawall at this part at Salmon Street Springs. Paul, Jeff?
Bob, I might ask you, and I assume it's correct, the Spirit of Portland ship as well as the Paddle Wheeler Portland, they've been taken out of there and moved to other locations.
Absolutely. We understand that the Portland Spirit ship is now down at Swan Island and tied up to a tanker. There's no moorage left. That's one thing that the manager said when we asked them about that. There's no moorages left, no moorage space left that's not underwater, so the ships are all tying to each other, just looking for a place to kind of ride the flood out, and they feel safe down there. They say actually they could cruise into under these conditions if they had a place to dock and load passengers, but for now they're just tied up and waiting for the flood to subside.
Okay, thank you, Bob High. We're now switching to a live picture from Milwaukie, and some evacuations continue over there. This has been going on throughout the night, and Ron Carlson is on the scene. Hello, Ron.
Hello, Jeff. Yeah, you're seeing people row down Oak Grove Boulevard right here in Milwaukie. What just last night was just a street down through here anyway, and they say we are about 150 yards from where the river usually is. So as you can tell, things have progressed rather quickly here in the Milwaukie area. And there's one gentleman here who knows very well what's been going on. He's lived in the area for well over 40 years now, right, Steve? And you have your mother out there somewhere in the middle of all this?
Up there, about 5 blocks upriver, I guess.
Okay.
In an island of, it's completely surrounded right now, and she won't leave. She says, I left in the first one, and I'm not leaving this one.
It's not Mrs. Harry Truman, is it?
No, Mrs. Janke.
Okay, but that's the kind of spirit she has about this, huh?
She's bound and determined to ride this one out. The first house we lived in got 6 to 8 feet, and this one here didn't get any, but it was pretty close. So I'm just kind of down here watching to make sure things aren't going to get too out of hand.
Okay, you've talked with her. Is she okay?
Yeah, I talked to her at about 3 o'clock this afternoon, and we called again about an hour and a half ago. Well, it was about 7 o'clock, so it's about an hour and a half ago, and she was okay. So I'm just kind of making sure things don't get up too high, so that if I have to get up in the middle of the night, I'm ready with the boat and stuff to get her out of there.
Son's going to ignore mother's wishes, though, isn't he? If the water gets too high, and go out and get her in a boat?
Yeah, I'm going to drag her home.
Good job, Steve. Okay, thanks for your time tonight. Good luck to you and your mom. You know, it's one thing, guys, to be standing down on the river where we were earlier tonight and see that water slowly rise 25, 26 feet right there under the Morrison Bridge. It's another thing to stand out here and just look at the destruction that's going on in people's homes and lives being affected behind me here. As you can see, there are just all sorts of homes back down the street here, just between Walker Lane and Oak Grove Boulevard, where they have left. They've evacuated, fortunately, and there's just all sorts of water in these homes behind me here. Beautiful locations during the regular part of the year, but tonight, obviously, a lot of destruction, a lot of water damage going on in those homes back there, and a lot of people out here tonight on a school night. But there's a lot to see. This is an education that these kids and these families haven't seen for years, and folks, this is really something, isn't it?
Well, Ron, I'll tell you what, you bring up a good point, because we are at this all day, and we show you one business after another or one residence after another inundated by water, and then we move on, and it makes us sound, I think, at times rather callous and lighthearted about it all. But these people, these are their lives.
Yeah.
Most of these people don't have flood insurance. The stats are that even people that live in the floodplain, only 20% have insurance. And if you see a business that's got 3 feet of water in it, or a home, those people have to figure out a way to get on with their lives, to pay for it, and to keep on going.
Well, we're looking at a picture of the bridges down there, and you can see one of the bridges up. You know, it was 6 p.m. They closed down the Hawthorne and the Burnside Bridge. They left those up in the up position. Just as a precaution, Paul, it wasn't so much that the floodwaters had affected them yet, but their electrical components are down below ground, and there's fear that as the floodwaters rise, it gets into there, could cause some major problems. So they shut down the Hawthorne and the Burnside and left them up in the up position at 6 p.m. tonight. And that's the latest situation from down there. So you can see, if you're going to have to travel, go on some of the other bridges, but definitely not the Hawthorne or Burnside.
Front Avenue is also closed, Jeff, so that whole loop around the core area is just a good place to stay away from. You can't get near it anyway. We have some video we'd like to share of the condominium on the west side that was evacuated this afternoon. No, that's the home that slid down the hill up in the West Hills this afternoon. When last we saw that scene, Jeff, the ground was still moving and so forth, and the gas company, Northwest Natural Gas, had come immediately to the scene of that private residence because there was the smell of gas in the air, and they wanted to make sure the line was secure. But I can't believe this video that we're seeing, because we often arrive at the slides after they've taken place, and they are so commonplace right now that we are able to capture them while we're there. There's the condominiums. This is on Broadway Drive. If you're not familiar with this area, if you were downtown in Portland and traveled Broadway up westbound and got to the end of it and took a right up Broadway Drive, you would pass under these condominiums with the cathedral-shaped roof. Look at the damage up there, Jeff. That is extensive.
And it was absolutely amazing. Reporter Bob High, one of the first reporters on the scene, and said that it was just amazing that no one was seriously injured or even killed, because it just came down that suddenly and started to crumple the bottom story of those condos there. So we're not only reporting on the flooding situation, we have serious mud problems out there as well. And there's Vancouver from our Smith Tower camera, and traffic, a lot of traffic out there tonight.
Well, you can see how people are slowing down on the bridge as we prepare to break once again. Jeff, Bernie Justo from the Oregon State Police Department asked us again today to remind people, keep up your pace. You want to see the river, we know, and you want to see what's going on all sides, but that's how accidents happen. There were actually people stopping on the interstate bridge earlier in the day. Traffic is moving slowly, but moving steadily. We will continue with our 24-hour storm coverage and the flood of 1996 when we come back. Bridge over a rising Columbia River. There's sandbagging right under there on the Vancouver side of the Columbia at this moment.
Okay, as Paul mentioned, folks slowing down on the bridge to take a look-see at what's going on, and you're told don't do that. Try to just keep going, even though it's human nature to do that. Let's talk about the Columbia in southwest Washington. Dan Christopher was there throughout the day and has the latest on flood damage in southwest Washington and the Kalama region.
I-5 North suddenly turned into a parking lot. No one going anywhere because a mid-afternoon landslide thundered down a hill 25 miles north of Vancouver. All 3 lanes buried, and no one will even start cleaning it up until the soaked hillside stabilizes. Anyone's guess when that will happen. Till then, no traffic north to Seattle. The story just a few miles north of the landslide is downtown Kalama underwater, including the fire department and businesses. And only the roof rack shows up on this car. Like so many spots, Kalama, Washington got a good soaking, especially here at the Camp Kalama RV Park campground. Because of the flood-swollen Columbia, the Kalama River backed up big time, consuming campsites, vehicles, and buildings. These same waters up the road turned farmland into a sprawling lake, leaving several head of cattle not only stranded, but swimming helplessly, trapped in a barn. The Cowlitz County Humane Society rushed to their aid.
They were treading water. They were treading water.
How long could they have lasted before they died?
I didn't think they'd last much longer, probably half an hour, if even that.
But it is the human drama that grabs our focus, like the one facing Melissa Payne. She watches with sorrow. The floodwaters consume her home.
I'm really scared.
About?
Because all my stuff's in the house, and I just lost my mom not that long ago, and all her stuff's in there.
One very sad story in this destructive flood, one of many. In Kalama, Washington, Dan Christopher, Channel 2 News.
One of many indeed, hundreds and hundreds of stories to be told tonight. When last we checked with Matt Safino in the Weather Center, he had 2 pieces of good information for us. The rain was stopping and the river wouldn't be as high as we thought. Come on, Matt, give us something else.
Paul, you want to make sure you don't go to the well one too many times. We've still got some rain out there. In fact, just heard from a weather watcher east of Salem, said it's raining hard, been raining hard for the last hour or so. We still have some heavy rain to get through, and it's still melting snow up until about 7,000 feet elevation. All the way from there down, snow is melting and falling into our river, so we've still got some water to get through. Let's look at the latest satellite pictures, and I'll show you what's happening. You can see this big old mass of cloud off the coast here as I get these ones rolling. You'll watch this edge here move towards us, but then it kind of hangs up off the coast, and I'll explain what's happening right now with the weather. We have what's called a wave, and what it is a disturbance way up high in the atmosphere that's traveling along the jet stream, and it's the only way you can really see it on the satellite picture is this very subtle little bow in the cloud line right there. That is helping to hold this front up. We need for that thing to travel on by. Once that scoots out of the way, we'll watch the rest of that front move on through. In the meantime, we have heavy rain to go through. In fact, the rain has picked up in Portland in the last couple of hours. It's raining hard once again. You can tell from our field reporters that is the case, and also from our weather watchers, and also from Doppler radar. In fact, see all this stuff out here around Mount Hood, and that would be probably parts of Hood River and Multnomah County as well. That's not ground clutter, folks. That's some real heavy water. That has to flow down the rivers into the Columbia or the Willamette, depending on what side of the hill it falls on. Still getting some heavy returns out in the Coast Range, too. So we're not quite out of this. It's taking a little bit longer than I thought. I still think the rain in Portland will end, though, by about midnight. I had some calls earlier on what do these terms mean. Flood stage, that's the level at which the damage will begin. It's a bit confusing because on one river it may be 18 feet, on another river it may be 40 feet. It all depends on the river that you're on. The crest, that's the highest level that the water will reach, and once it crests, it'll eventually slowly start to fall on off. Down to almost 26.5 feet at the present time. It's still forecast, well, actually, we've updated that to reach the seawall at either 1 or 2 a.m. this morning, according to the mayor's office. And the crest now, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning at 29 feet, and that's a foot below what it had originally been forecasted to be. The Columbia River, flood stage 16 feet, now forecast to crest at 27.5. That is also a foot lower than was previously forecast. At Longview, also a foot lower than previously forecast. Crest will be 19 feet tomorrow morning around 11 a.m. Out at St. Helens, haven't heard from many folks out that way, but I'm sure that there's quite a bit of flooding there, and the top of the Lewis River dike is going under, if it's not under already. And a lot of folks in the Lewis River have called me during the day today, and the latest conditions on the Lewis River is that you will crest, I believe, tomorrow. I updated that on the phone line that I'll be showing you in a minute. The rain will end, I'll call it actually around midnight, we'll say now. And once again, there are some storm totals for you. So we've got some very heavy rain still to get through in the next couple of hours, but tomorrow will be a mostly dry day. Paul, Jeff, back to you.
Matt, before you leave us, at what point tonight or early this morning do you expect the river to be high enough to be over the seawall, that highest figure we were talking about tonight?
Right, Paul. As I said earlier, from the mayor's office, they are now saying 1 or 2 a.m. I believe it was 2 a.m., so that has been pushed back as well.
All right, Matt Safino on the Weather Center, thank you very much.
You bet.
You're watching storm coverage on KATU Channel 2 Television, Spirit 2 in Portland. It's 9 o'clock, or 9:01 to be precise, if you're just getting your power back.
As I clear my throat here to bring you up to the minute, every 15 minutes we bring you the latest information. And the newest information, KTIL is off the air in Tillamook. However, they've made arrangements to be on these radio stations. In southern Tillamook County, you can listen to KYTE 102.7 FM for the latest flood information. Northern Tillamook County, KAST 92.9 FM. Residents of Tillamook, that's where you'll get your information tonight. Glenwood, Washington evacuation has been postponed, and please stay clear of the waterfront park area down here in Portland. They want you to stay clear of there. No gawkers, please.
One of our team members, Ken Cole, is really getting around tonight. He's moved from his last location, which I can't remember, over to Tigard. He was in Oregon City, and now he's in Tigard. What's going on where you are now, Ken?
We are in Tigard on Hall Boulevard, just up from City Hall, and we've got a scene that's very familiar to a lot of folks here right now. We've got a flooded street. This is Fano Creek, and you can see it's coming right up to the bridge here. The good news is, I'm told that the water has dramatically receded in the last few hours here. There's still quite a rapid current going through here, and it's been real touch and go as far as me just standing up here. It's hard because this water is flowing so strongly through here. But again, as I said, the water has come down quite a bit. I want to talk to one of the residents over here. Corey Muchmore, why don't you step over here real quick? I'm going to switch around too because I think we might still be able to see your house over here. That is your house right over there, the one that slid up?
Yeah, right up here. So
tell me what you guys been doing all day.
Well, we just ran up and got some sandbags and just kind of been putting bags up by our house, hoping that it doesn't get up so high that we're going to need them, but it's kind of preparing for the worst. So
now you sit up maybe, I don't know, what is that, about 10, 15 feet above the water there?
Yeah, probably about 10, 15 feet. So
well, tell me what you've been noticing as far as the water level here. You mentioned the bridge earlier was kind of your marker point.
The bridge it was about halfway up onto the bridge, but it's gone down. It's maybe just a little bit, like a couple feet up onto the bridge now, so it's not too bad anymore.
Good. You're still having a good time out here, though. I think you guys pacing back and forth.
Having fun, just kind of running around, still moving a couple sandbags. So.
Yeah. Well, have you ever seen anything like this out here?
This has been the worst it's been. I've been living in this house for 7 years now, and it's the worst it's got. So.
Yeah. Of course, Fano Creek is pretty much notorious for flooding out here on Hall Boulevard, but not like this. Corey, thanks a lot. I appreciate your help. So the water here is starting to recede pretty dramatically. It's going down. That is the right direction. Hopefully we're going to see more of this as the hours progress here. Back to you guys in the studio.
Okay, that's a little bit of good news out there, but Fano Creek, as Paul mentioned, Paul, you grew up here, you played on Fano Creek when you were a kid, you've never seen it like this.
It's true, and it's throughout the region, and it's been a rare experience for us to report on all of this because we're usually talking about the Wilson River or we're talking about Johnson Creek in southeast Portland, but these days we're talking about everything. So you're all in it together out there, those of you living next to waterways. We have Walt down in Sheridan with us on the phone right now. Walt, are you there?
Yes, I am.
I understand you have some good news to share with us tonight.
Yeah, the upstream flow is receding. We, in the last 2 hours, the water levels dropped, live right here on the Yamhill River, and the water levels dropped 3 inches in the last 2 hours.
Okay, that's on the Yamhill there, Walt. Walt, any other particular problems in the Sheridan area there that you can bring our viewers up to date on?
Yes, we have some runoff from the hill on the north side of town that's flooding some of the residents over there. The fire department and volunteers are keeping a close eye on them. The city people are helping out, and they're doing some sandbagging and some evacuation on the people that like to be evacuated.
How about homes along the Yamhill, Walt? Have you witnessed much damage or bad situations today?
Not really. All the way up and down here, I haven't heard of anybody losing any homes or anything. Our neighbor did lose a treehouse, but that was it.
That's not good if you're the kid who has the treehouse. Walt Eden, thank you very much for phoning in for Sheridan and bringing us up to date. The Yamhill River is receding.
Okay, let's switch over to Washington State. Woodland, Washington. I believe we have Jim Graham, mayor there. Jim, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Oh, Jim, bring us up to date on what's going on in Woodland.
Right now we are beginning a partial evacuation of the city, the east side, outside the seawall. We are asking all residents to go to the Woodland High School. Therefore, they can bivouac there until other arrangements can be made. We're working with the Clark County Emergency Operations Center as well as Cowlitz County and the Red Cross to find shelter for persons. We are doing this because of predictions of water increasing in the next few hours. We already have a little bit of water over State Route 503, which is the only way out. And so they're going to have to drive through a little bit of water, but it's the only way out, so they've got to start now.
Now, we'd like to ask you, Jim, if you would, to repeat specifically the area in which you were asking people to evacuate.
Okay, the area is any resident east of the seawall in the city of Woodland or even upriver if they're in low lands.
All right. Now, is this a recommendation on the city's part, or are you just going to tell people they got to get out of there?
Well, they better get out of there because if the water gets in there, they're not going to be able to get out. So we're making it a mandatory at this time.
Okay, Jim, I know you've lived there a while. Have you ever seen it this bad?
Not since 1948.
Okay. All right. Jim Graham, our hearts go out to you folks there in Woodland. Once again, Jim advising folks east of the seawall in Woodland, they'd like you to evacuate. They've already had some water starting to flow over 503, so get out of the area. Incredible pictures, Paul, not only here in Oregon, but across. It's so hard to keep up with. We are reporting on a lot of the major problems. As we sit here, new information comes in. We talked about road closures. We've gone over some of the major roads, but as Paul mentioned, Associated Press said how many roads, Paul? Over
752.
752 roads affected by some kinds of closures just here in Oregon. So it can be very, very frustrating as you try to get around. I know it took me almost 2 hours to get into work. I don't live that far away this morning.
And we showed our friends the video from the Woodland Kalama area earlier, the mudslide going across I-5 up there, and that's going to be a problem for some time to come. Many of you are concerned about a favorite spot in the city, the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry, now located on the east bank of the Willamette River. You know where it is, over near the Markham Bridge. Look at the pumps that they've brought into OMSI this afternoon. We had a real serious situation. OMSI removed all the exhibits in the lower areas and had water, by one report, being pumped out of their building at the rate of 9,800 gallons a minute. That water was approaching electrical panels, which would do two things: knock out the power, number one, and knock out the use of the electric-driven pumps. There was sandbagging done all day long by volunteers outside of the building, but the last time we spoke with Jim Gibbons, the new president of OMSI down there, the disaster had had been averted. They felt that they had managed to remove enough water from the basement of OMSI, and things were going to be okay. I think they just plan on holding the line overnight, keep the pumps going, and make sure that everything is secure there. A lot of people too, Jeff, concerned about the bluefin, the submarine sitting outside, and we had a couple of callers saying you guys aren't very smart if you think a submarine's got a problem in high water. Well, this one has a big hole in its side so that people can go in and enjoy it, and that's the problem. Plus it reaches the top of the, I guess they call those dolphins that are holding them on, and then could face the prospect of perhaps leaving the area, but we're told the dolphin is doing okay right now as well.
That's good news. Paul, what we're looking at here, you see the bridge lights going. That's the interstate bridge bridging the Columbia River. It is going up and down continuously because of the high water. We don't have the exact reason. They told us because of the high water, they're raising and lowering the interstate bridge there. So if you're heading into Vancouver, or if you're in Vancouver heading into Portland, expect some delays. The interstate bridge continues to go up and down tonight. I was in that area very early this morning, and there were some real problems there right at the foot of that bridge, and one barge particularly had problems going under the bridge because of the high water. You have to realize the bridges have to raise a lot higher, and at that point it couldn't do it, and the barge, a tug had to push that barge back and wait a while until the traffic flow continued and the bridge was able to go higher. But these bridges have to go a lot higher with the traffic flow.
Well, I don't know if the bridge is going up because of river traffic, Jeff, or if the water's high enough that debris coming up against the bridge needs to be released or not, but the message is that it has been going up and down tonight. So if you are traveling out and about tonight because you need to be, or expecting people from the north, they're going to be delayed for a variety of reasons, this being chief among them. Let's go back down to the Willamette River now. Steve Dunn has been writing things out for us down there now, and Steve, set the scene for us. How's it going?
I'll give it my best shot. It's getting a little noisy right now, Paul. Let's get a shot of that, Mike, if we can. That is, you can see those are the concrete barriers that are going down to support the wall here against the seawall. And, of course, they'll T-bone those things and put some sandbags around that to reinforce it even more. And those things have been going up and down here all night long, and they're getting closer to us as we speak. Let's turn around here, Mike. We got another one that's going to pull around us. Those are the concrete barriers we've been talking about all night long. And these folks, I just talked to one of these guys. He's been working all day long since this morning. He helped put up this fence along the seawall, and now he's helping with the concrete barrier. So these guys are working very, very hard. As Mike holds a shot, I'm going to wander out here just a little bit. There was a line of people up on the Morrison Bridge a couple of minutes ago watching all this happen. I'm just going to see if they're still up there. Well, there's a few of them still up here looking down. Boy, these are diehards, I'm telling you, because it is, hi guys, it is pouring rain out here, and they're still hanging out just watching all the activity. Other than that, just these folks going back and forth with the concrete barriers, and the river at this point, as I look over, is a couple inches over 26 feet. Not rising quite as quickly as a lot of folks thought it was going to, but boy, it is noisy down here. But nonetheless, we're just kind of waiting at this point.
Okay, Steve Dunn down at Waterfront Park. Steve is going to remain there and bring us up to date as the rivers continue to rise, and we can continue to have more information come into the Channel 2 newsroom. And folks say, what's going on the Columbia? Let's switch now to Barbara Wood, who's standing by. Barbara?
Well, right now, I talked to some ODOT folks. They're under the I-5 bridge here. Just a little bit about what they're expecting. At a certain point, they're going to have to turn the power off around here, and that means that they'll go on to the generator. Then they have concerns about that generator going out if the water continues to rise. At that point, then there's no power, there are no lights around here. However, one thing that could happen is that the Coast Guard could order them to raise the bridge, which would basically put a stop to interstate traffic here on I-5. Now, the man I talked to, Bob Sork, he called the I-5 bridge the king of the bridges, and he called it that mainly because there's so much commuter traffic on that. And he thinks that, well, he felt pretty sure that it would not come to that. In other words, the Coast Guard would hopefully not mandate them to leave the bridge up. But bear in mind, there are several steps that would have to go down before it even got to that point, but that is something that they're looking at. Jeff, Paul?
Okay, so right now, Barbara, they're worried about the power supply to the bridge, the electricity that supplies the bridge motors?
Okay, the people people I talked to seem pretty certain that at some point the power would have to be turned off around here because of the rising water levels, and they've got sandbags all up the towers here on the bridge. Okay, that's the one thing.
Okay.
But they will go over to generator power, and then after that, we'll see.
How about the river itself? How's it looking, Barbara? Is the river noticeably rising in between times that we're talking?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's a little slower than it was before, but it's just taken over Columbia Street in a way that's just unbelievable. And this is really more like Columbia Way, that street that goes along the waterfront and along to all those restaurants. It's just gone. It's really covered. There's just no evidence that there was ever a street or a walkway here.
Okay, Barbara Wood reporting from Vancouver. And it looks like the rain has stopped somewhat in Vancouver, but it depends on where you live, Paul. As these showers move through, some areas still experience some pretty tough showers out there.
Let's bring you up to the minute. First, on that Columbia River Correctional Facility in Wilsonville, it is not moving prisoners. We want to correct ourselves if we get something incorrect. Apparently we did. Ships have been moved from the downtown area, and we're talking about the cruise ship Portland and the sternwheeler Portland. It's 5 hours until the seawall showdown, officials are now saying. 5 hours. That puts us somewhere around 2 a.m. or shortly thereafter. We originally thought it would be at 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. I should say, when the water first went over to the top of the plywood on the seawall now, but now it's looking like it's going to be closer to 2 a.m.
Okay, we want to cover all the major rivers around this area, all the major areas. This is the Molalla River. A truck got stuck there this afternoon. They pulled the truck out. These are just some of the scenes. We're setting the scene there in Clackamas County. You know, we've talked an awful lot about the Willamette and the Columbia, but all kinds of other problems with rivers. There's Tony's Fish Market. We showed you that a little earlier. That's underwater, but they're trying to keep a good sense of humor about it. And some of the other rivers around Clackamas County, there's the I-205 right behind the river there. And so the flooding continues everywhere. It doesn't matter where you live. If you're near water, if you're near a river, there's flooding going on tonight.
Somebody may want to check in with us from the Molalla area. It was very early in the day when the Molalla River knocked out their pump houses out there, or pump house, I guess, and the city lost its water supply. We spoke with some local officials earlier in the day who were pursuing other sources of water. We don't know what provisions have been made at this hour, so if there is somebody who wants to play reporter out in Molalla tonight, give us a call and let us know what's happening with your water.
Okay, there's the other danger, Paul. We can see from the pictures there, all the debris that's floating by. I know a lot of the state engineers, they've been busy clearing debris from the bridge trestles. They said the debris really weakens some of the piers and the trestles, and you can see it floating right there. I was down the Willamette last night, and you know, we show the pictures there, and it looks like, oh, some pieces of wood. The pieces of wood are actually huge trees, and their roots and the branches that go under that. So some incredible debris coming down our local rivers here, and that's another reason why we don't want you down towards those rivers, getting towards the banks of those rivers.
We're keeping a close eye on Portland's major waterway, the Willamette River, back to the rain gauge. It looks as if we're up around the 26.5-foot level now, on our way to 28 or so tonight. We'll continue to follow it for you and bring you more coverage of the flood of '96 in just a moment.
Flood, Jeff Gianola along with Paul Lindman. We want to go to the phone lines right now. We have Tom McKinney standing by from St. Helens. Tom, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, give me the latest update in the St. Helens, Highway 30 area.
Well, the Highway 30 is Highway 30 on St. Helens at Milton Creek. The water is getting ready to crest over the highway. We've had some reservoirs break up above St. Helens, and what we got is the Boise Mill is shut down because the water cresting over it. The Armstrong Mill is getting ready to shut down. They're trying everything they can to get sand, gravel, and all the other stuff. Lots of help going around. Lower down the Columbia, or lower down the Milton, there's lots of roads closed. Main accesses are closed. Highways closed. It's just a really bad flooding situation from the Milton Creek.
What about that Highway 30 bridge in that area, Tom?
Well, it's cresting over. It's already up on Highway 30, and there's at least 2 feet of water. I was through there with my truck earlier today, and there was over 2 feet of water on the road.
Okay. Is there a call out for help in your area there in St. Helens? Do they need help with sandbags or sand?
No, I think we pretty much got it taken care of in this area. You know, we're a pretty close community. It just, you know, given you guys called and said you hadn't heard anything from us, and we're just hoping and praying that everything goes good tonight, so we don't lose Highway 30 and the bridges, because we're cut off from both sides.
Okay. Well, Tom McKinney, we're hoping and praying with you and you folks there in St. Helens and across the state having those flood problems. And thanks, Tom, for the latest update in that area, Highway 30 near St. Helens.
Jeff, a little while ago we were talking about the city of Molalla and raising the question of what's happening to those residents relative to their water supply. We have with us on the phone now Harvey Barnes, who's the city administrator for Molalla. And Harvey, we appreciate you responding to our call. Tell us what the situation is, if you would, sir.
Well, I think the good news is at our pump station, our location, the water level in the river, the Molalla River, has actually gone down since this morning. The bad news is the damage to our pump station is much, much worse than we had hoped that it would be. And quite frankly, our pump station is destroyed. It's a fairly new facility. My understanding is it's about $800,000 to $1 million worth of damage to it.
Wow.
We've got one emergency pump on the scene right now. We have crews working. We've had engineers working all day long, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, and they're putting together an emergency pumping system. We have one of those pumps on the scene right now. We still have crews working. We hope to get that up and running tonight or early morning, where it's going to take us a while to start making water. That sounds kind of funny because we've got lots of water, but we got to make some clean water.
What's the message to your residents out there then, Harvey? Is there just no water available to them at all right now?
Well, no, there is water available. We have the National Guard here with clean water to drink if they need drinking water. It's at the fire hall, the high school, and at the primary school on Tolliver Road. There's potable water there available. They need to take a container with them, but there's water available. And be patient.
How long do you think it's going to be before you're able to, as you put it, start making water again?
Well, we hope by morning.
By morning. Well, that's a good sign.
Hope by morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that really gives us a perspective on what's happening. You take Molalla, one community that's suffering flooding like so many others around here. They lose their pump station, they're looking at $1 million loss just right off the bat. I mean, forget about what's happening to the roads and the businesses and the homes around there. Their pump station is gone.
Which is an essential service. And, you know, the sad thing is in Molalla they're having problems with water, and we heard they had problems in Sandy and some other areas. So that's not the first area we're going to hear about water problems. And I think Harvey was right. Just be patient. It sounds like they're working hard to make sure you folks have drinking water there.
And you know what? I bet they will. There is drinking water available to you. You heard the locations, the high school, the fire hall being among them, and take your own containers and get what you need if you're a resident of the city of Molalla. Ron Carlson now in the city of Milwaukie, or at least near that location. Ron, what do you got for us, sir?
Well, Paul, as you know, there are thousands upon thousands of stories and people affected by the weather, and we have a rather interesting one here. This is Aaron Short and Frank Noe with me. And Aaron, tell me about what you guys were supposed to be doing.
Well, we were supposed to be leaving tonight right after work, and we were going to head to Tahoe and get married.
and you let the storm stop you, huh?
Well, we really had no choice. I mean, we're driving, and so we thought we'd all get in the old truck and drive as a family out to Tahoe, but the roads are closed down, and the neighbors, Frank was up till 4:30 in the morning yesterday with trying to help evacuate the neighbors. So we're exhausted. We need to wait a couple of days. We don't know when we'll be able to get out. So we're just going to kind of hold on and hope that we can cross our fingers and hope we can still continue to with our plans.
You're not letting this be kind of an omen for you, are you?
No, but we've thought about it.
Well, you guys be sure and warn us next time you plan it so everybody in the community can be prepared.
Exactly.
Now, you guys, obviously, on a more serious note, this has really been kind of devastating to the neighborhood, aside from what's happened to you guys. I mean, that's something you can reschedule. What's going on behind us here is pretty serious. Frank, you've been in this area for a while. We've got a home behind you here with sandbags up to the windows and all over the place. Pretty sad to look around the neighborhood and see what's happening.
Yes, it is. We've been fighting this thing. We kind of got the clue last night when we saw people evacuating in waist-deep water. We said, let's not that happen to us. Let's do it now. And so we started in, me and Brian, the captain over there. I don't know where he's at. And it's been nonstop since. And we're back out here again. So we thought we'd wait till the cleanup begins, then we're going to sneak out of town. But,
okay. Well, you know, all the best to both of you. Let's hope that the next planned wedding goes a lot smoother, okay? All right, Aaron and Frank, all the best to you. Thanks for joining us tonight. All right, gentlemen?
I guess, Ron, you can't say it's the beginning of a stormy relationship.
We won't pass that along, Paul. All right.
Oh, thank you, Ron.
Well, look who joins us here. Thanks, Ron. Look who joins us here on the Channel 2 weather set here is Matt Zaffino. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Jeff. Hey, Paul. We still have some rain out there. I also want to answer a question that I've gotten a couple of times tonight. When we give these flood stages and we say the flood stage is 18 feet or it's, you know, whatever it is on whatever river, 29 feet, what does that mean? Does that mean above sea level, above average river level? What it means is this. If the river was empty, it'd be 0. Okay, so it's measured from the bottom of the channel up. So when we're giving the river reports for the Willamette at, 27 feet now, that means that's essentially the depth. That's how deep it is. So all you folks have been wondering what these river levels mean. That's what it means, and that's why the flood stages vary so much, because on Sun River, you can get real deep before you get up to above the banks and start causing damage with flood stage, and that's what flood stage is. That's when you start having damage after the river goes over its banks. So just want to straighten that out for you. Let's check outside right now, look at our current conditions. In the weather department, it is still raining in Portland, and it's raining hard here again in town. It's raining a little bit lighter up, up to the north, up in Toledo, Washington, for instance. The rain is very light, and it's stopped up in Olympia. And as we go down into the coast, as a matter of fact, it's stopped on the north coast of Washington, too. So that is also what we want to hear. However, we have this front that's kind of hung itself up across the state of Oregon, and because of that, we're still seeing the rain, and it's becoming rather heavy in some of the locations. We'll put these pictures into motion, as we say, and we will watch these. We'll watch these clouds going on. We'll do a little bit more on the weather in just a minute. Right now, I'm going to kick it back to Paul and Steve.
Okay, we have, if you can come back to us right here, we have some important information for you. This has just been confirmed by Oregon State Police. Governor John Kitzhaber has apparently had a heart attack. Once again, Governor John Kitzhaber has apparently had a heart attack. This was just confirmed by Oregon State Police. We don't know too much information about it, but Paul does have some information.
Jeff, it's coming into us in pieces. He is apparently in Salem Memorial Hospital in the intensive care unit, and the words that were spoken to me a moment ago said chest pains, which indicates an apparent heart attack. So it doesn't sound like the governor's situation is critical at this time. We haven't been given a condition, but the governor has been taken to Salem Memorial Hospital suffering with chest pains and what is believed to be a heart attack. He's in intensive care.
Yeah, we do know he's in intensive care. Now, earlier and throughout the day, the governor was taking an aerial tour of the entire state, including the Portland area. He's had a very, very busy day. Once again, just to repeat this information, what we know, he apparently has some chest pains, and they say it may be an apparent heart attack, confirmed by the Oregon State Police. He's at Salem Hospital. This is a look at the governor earlier today as he was touring some of the areas. He landed out there at the National Guard base here in Portland, towards the airport there, before he took his ground tour.
Of course, you all know the governor is a physician. He's a medical doctor. He keeps himself in good condition. As you can clearly see, he did have a very active day. He is under a great deal of stress. 18 of the counties in his state have been declared disaster orders by his own declaration. He has asked President Clinton to declare the state of Oregon a disaster area in its entirety to open up the possibility of federal funding. And the governor was getting around today. We were on the air first thing this morning, and we heard that the governor began his touring in Salem, got in a National Guard helicopter. He flew northward. He stopped off in Clackamas, or at least flew over the Clackamas River area, then proceeded on to Portland, did an aerial inspection. He was originally going to sit down in the city of Portland, Jeff, and they asked him not to because of all that was going on downtown. They went out to the air base, the National Guard site that you just saw, and the governor got out of the helicopter. He's been speaking to us both live and on videotape, and he seems to be okay. But the report tonight is that the governor is suffering from chest pains. It's believed he suffered a heart attack of some kind, and he is now in Salem Memorial Hospital in intensive care.
Yeah, that's all we know up to this point, and as we get more information, we'll give it to you, but no doubt about it, there's a man that's under tremendous stress, and after everything he was going through today. You know, something like this could conceivably happen, and something apparently has. As Paul mentioned, he's complaining of chest pain, so at least he's conscious and he's talking about it, so we don't know how serious it is right now. We're just getting this information into the newsroom.
We want to continue to follow the story as best we can. Leah Hope is in the Salem area, and I don't know if Leah is able to join us now. Have you heard anything that we haven't reported as yet, Leah?
No, I believe that what you are reporting is the first that certainly we have heard about it, and we're here with a lot of volunteers trying to, of course, help with the flooding problem, and it doesn't appear no one has said anything to us, so this is certainly the first that we have heard of it. And after today, certainly it's understandable, tremendous amount of stress that a lot of people are under, dealing with the flooding and trying to get loved ones and relatives to safety. Not to mention, so many people are making these sandbags. This is just one business right here that's sandbagged up to it. We're here in West Salem in Polk County, and Roth's IGA was the only place in town where people could just come out and get sand and try and protect their homes or businesses the best they can. Now, the problem they're running into is that they're actually running out of sand. People have been driving up looking to get bags of sand, and now there really isn't. Take a look at all these people that have been here volunteering, and now they're just standing waiting. This gentleman here was telling us, you guys are ready, just no more sand, right?
Yes, right this time, yeah. We're just waiting for the trucks to come in now.
Right, okay. Well, thanks very much, and certainly we'll let you know what's going on here, but people still dealing with the flooding, and this news of Governor Kitzhaber certainly will let you know if we hear more here from Salem. Back to you guys.
Well, Leah Hope, we want to free you up. I don't know which of our Salem crews, whether it's you or somebody else, but we'd ask that you'd get to the hospital and check on all of this for us. One thing we should say, Jeff, we don't want to overplay this. We don't want to overreact and say things that we don't know is true, but we can say that because Governor Kitzhaber is a physician, he is smart enough on these subjects to know that if he is experiencing chest pains, he needs to be checked.
He needs to get to the hospital.
It could be nothing more than that, chest pains and maybe a mild heart attack. The condition of the governor is not being released to us by the people at Salem Memorial Hospital. They're saying that he has been admitted there and is in their care now, but we really know much little more than that, I should say. The governor may have suffered a heart attack tonight and is at the hospital being checked out.
Yeah, once again, we're looking at the pictures of the governor earlier today. Certainly probably the busiest man in the state of Oregon as he toured the areas both by air and by ground today. And we will keep you up to date as more information comes in to the Channel 2 newsroom on that situation. Let's go back to Matt right now for Matt, you were right in the middle of the weather forecast when we got this news about the governor. You did want to mention the river levels, the Willamette?
The Willamette is still rising slowly, as we've been witnessing all night with the river gauge, the camera we've had on that river gauge. And once again, just to let you know, what does that mean? The river gauge of 26 feet or 27 feet, that is from the bottom of the channel. So that is essentially the depth, and that's how flood stages are estimated. And that's why it only applies to whatever part of the river is near that gauge, because it can change from part of the river to a different part of the river. All right, let's once again try do the weather and look outside and check on our fair city and see how she's doing with all the rain and the heavy burden of water that we're carrying. You're looking down on the Morrison Bridge right now, and that is where, as a matter of fact, the river gauge is that we've been watching for a good part of the evening. It is 57 degrees out there. We had a high today of 62, believe it or not, and that was back around midnight. Northwest winds, and that's a sign that the front has gone through. So is the fact that the barometer is rising, and that is all good. That means that we're going to get some relief from the rain that we've had since Monday, or really since Sunday night, if you count the freezing rain too. You can see a back edge to the cloud line right about there, but the front is passed through the northern half of the state, still kind of hanging back on the south. This little wave, slight little S-curve, means that it's really, really slowed down, and that's why we still have the heavy cloud. In fact, you can see, or the heavy rain, you can still see some brighter cloud just over the northwest corner, and that's where the heaviest rain is. It's stopped up to the north, and Seattle radar picks some of that up. Part of that's blocked by the Olympic Mountains here. There could be rain in here that we wouldn't see. It's blocked because the radar's on Kamino Island. Portland radar is still picking up a lot, all the way out throughout its range. Lots of rain in there. Some of it heavy, the darker greens and the yellows, so we still have some fairly heavy precipitation to get through for the next couple of hours. But we are going to see some drying. As a matter of fact, I want to show you this satellite picture. It's a little bit different look. This one detects the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere. Water vapor is invisible, unlike clouds. It's an invisible gas, but special sensors on the satellite can show it. Where you see the dark area is where it's dry, and you can see the dry line just off the coast out here and farther off the coast of California too. Once again, back to the river levels. On the Willamette, it was officially at 25.9 at last report. We know it's about 26.5 by now. The seawall, about 2 a.m. they're saying now, 28.8 feet. Crest at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning at 28. But look at this. By Saturday morning, a full 24 hours after the crest, it only drops a foot. So that means we will have high water in downtown where we have high water for quite a while. Some other numbers for you. Columbia River at Vancouver, flood stage of 16 feet. It's now at 24, still rising. It'll crest tomorrow morning. However, that is a downgraded crest, about a foot lower than what we had originally estimated. Also at Longview, the Columbia, 19-foot crest tomorrow morning at about 11 a.m. And at St. Helens, top of the Lewis River Dike, it should go over that, but then come back down tomorrow with a crest of 24.4. Also, the Lewis River itself, I've had a lot of calls from that area. That should crest tomorrow morning, I believe, at 34.4 feet. Here are the numbers, by the way, that I've put all of the information for all of the rivers and streams, Western Oregon and the Columbia River. Dial this number, 291-6030. The code for Western Oregon and the Columbia is 2215. For the rivers in northeast Oregon, which are also flooding, and by the way, they're seeing some heavy rain still tonight, the code there is 2214. So two different sets of rivers and two different access codes, but the main number 291-6030. Also the numbers in Washington, like the Lewis River, listed on that second access code, and I'm updating those as soon as I get updated information. I try to get on the phone and update those lines for you so we have the latest information, because we've been focusing a lot on the Willamette River and on downtown Portland, which we need to do. Obviously, it affects a lot of people, but we serve a very large audience, and we've been getting a lot of calls from people in Northeast Oregon, Southwest Washington, down the valley. Hey, what's going on here? So we're trying to cover that too.
You bet. Okay, Matt. Thank you. Check back with you later.
Okay, if you're just joining us, a few minutes ago, we just found out, according to the Oregon State Police, Bernie Justo, that Governor Kitzhaber apparently has chest pains. He was taken to Salem Memorial Hospital. He is there right now at Salem Memorial Hospital. The hospital isn't telling us anymore. We do know that Governor Kitzhaber has chest pains. He's complaining of chest pains. He was taken to Salem Memorial Hospital. He is there tonight, and as we mentioned, here's a man under tremendous stress. He was in the area earlier today, landing at the Portland Air Base, and that's all we do know right now. We're being very, very careful to say whether or not it's a heart attack. There was some word that it could be. All we can confirm that he was hospitalized after suffering chest pains tonight, and that's all we're going to say at this point. But we do know the governor is at Salem Memorial Hospital, and we'll continue to gather information on that and share it with you as soon as we find out more.
Okay, so to bring you up to the minute right now, let's tell you what we know. We'll do that very, very shortly. Governor Kitzhaber is in the hospital in Salem. He's in Salem Memorial suffering from chest pains tonight. The assumption is it is a heart attack, but we don't have final confirmation on that. Power to Interstate Bridge over the Columbia may be in jeopardy. The fear is that rising water will knock the power out to the bridge. And the Willamette River is now up to 26.5 feet. Back to the we're continuing on with our up-to-minute information. Molalla water available at the high school and at the fire station. The Molalla city administrator spoke with us a while ago and indicated that the pump situation is totally lost in Molalla, but there is potable water made available by the National Guard in those locations. Back to the governor's story now. We can tell you that Secretary of State Phil Keisling would be the man in the hot seat given all that's happening if the governor is out of action for a time, and we again have no reason to believe that he will be. But Phil Keisling is the man who would step up to the plate in the event that Governor Kitzhaber needed some time off.
You know, Paul, originally the Associated Press had broadcast, put out on the wire a heart attack. They backed off of that now and said chest pains. And you know, there's quite a difference between a heart attack and chest pains. Things can mimic each other. All we do know is chest pains, and we just want to make that clear. On a night when we don't need to hear any more bad news. This is certainly adding insult to injury that our governor is in the hospital tonight with chest pains. So we'll keep you up to date as the information comes in.
We can hope and pray that the governor is doing okay and is just doing a smart thing and getting himself in for a checkup to find out what his chest pains are about tonight. So we'll continue to follow that for you and let you know what transpires throughout the evening here. I know all of you and all of us who make it our business to follow these things for you have asked the same question over the last several weeks, through the ice, through the snow, through the rain, through the flooding. What next? What next? What next? Maybe we should stop asking that.
You know, I will put let you know about something. On Sunday on Town Hall, Paul, at 6 o'clock, we were originally going to do one show. We decided to change it. What's going on with the weather? And that's what our show will be about. Sunday at 6, and you're welcome to call in and talk to the weather experts. What's going on with this wacky weather? That's what Town Hall is all about. Sunday at 6, it's a live program. You can call in, and we would appreciate hopefully getting some answers as to what's going on with our wacky weather.
One of the people that have been bringing you these excellent storm pictures all day long is Phil Beard. You've seen him on the air a couple of times now through the most recent storms, and Phil has some new video to share with us tonight. He's in our newsroom. Phil, how you doing?
Hi, Paul, Jeff. Just got back from Sauvie Island, and if we can go ahead and take a look at the video, we can see what's been going on in Sauvie Island over the evening tonight. This is at Sauvie Island School, where they're preparing a shelter for the National Guard troops from the 282nd Field Artillery Unit out of Portland. National Guard troops are going to be staying here at the school, and they're getting it ready for them. There's about 35 to 40 of them. They're using the gym at Sauvie Island School to see them getting the preparations ready, putting the mats out. They've got the kids from the families there on the island getting it ready for these troops to spend the night here at the school. The troops have been called to Sauvie Island to sandbag and be prepared for any eventuality that should the water continue to rise. They have not, the waters have not crested over the dikes or the levees on Sauvie Island yet. But the troops are out there to be ready, and in fact they're sandbagging right now, making sandbags so they can haul them out wherever they go. Let's listen to this interview with Specialist Smalling.
And you're with the
2nd of the 218.
And that's the...
It's a field artillery unit out of Portland.
And that's with the National Guard?
Check.
Okay. What are you guys doing out here on Sauvie Island tonight?
Well, basically what we're doing is preparing for the worst. And that's, we're getting all the sandbags filled and getting out there. And then if something gets called out, a high area or something like that, we're going to ship out there and fill them up.
What are you setting up here at Sauvie Island School?
Right now we're setting up some sleeping quarters. We're able to rotate men in and out.
About how many men do you expect to have out here?
30 for right now. There's always more on the way. So.
Okay. Thanks.
You bet.
And you can see these guys are in it for the long haul. They've got their large four-wheel drive trucks. They're meal ready-to-eat units, backpacks, the whole 9 yards, because they're there until it's over. So these are National Guard volunteers, troops, unloading and getting ready on Sauvie Island. We keep the tape rolling here. We'll get to the point on the tape where they're actually doing the sandbagging. All along the roads throughout Sauvie Island, there are, on the low spots of the roads, there's already sandbags along the shoulders in hopes to keep the roads passable. There's already some residents that have been cut off by flooding and have no way to get out as far as traveling on roads. Here we are in the kitchen, Sauvie Island School. Again, island residents preparing the meals for the National Guardsmen so that they can stay out there working throughout the night, as throughout the next couple of days, as probably will be. A couple of TVs on there watching one of our favorite channels, of course. But Paul and Jeff, it's amazing to see these guys out there. You know, you'd think that they can't rain any harder than it has been all day. And you can see in the video right there, it's pouring out there. There's not a grimace on any of these faces except for lifting. These guys are in great spirits, they're working hard, and it's just a team and a camaraderie out there. And there's residents out there helping these guys as well. So good to see the spirit alive out here on Sauvie Island. These guys are going to be out here digging, filling sandbags, and basically being ready should there be any breach, that they can go with sandbags already. They've got a couple of flatbed trucks loaded with sandbags. They can go there and stop any problems that might happen.
Okay, Phil Beard with the latest on Sauvie Island. Phil, thanks for the latest pictures from there. We were talking to folks there, and as Phil mentioned, a lot of them landlocked tonight. They just simply can't get out because of the flooded roads. So I love the way they pulled together there.
Well, I saw them taking in those ready-to-eat meal units, as Phil put it, the rations. You're not going to have to crack those open out on Sauvie Island, as you saw the spaghetti sauce being put together. Those folks will take care of the troops. If you're joining us just now, Governor Kitzhaber is in Salem Memorial Hospital at this hour. He's being held for observation as a result of chest pains he's experiencing this evening. We're continuing to follow this story. We're told that he's been in the hospital about an hour now, and he will continue to stay there so that he might be observed and they can get to the bottom of his chest pain problems. That relative to Governor Kitzhaber.
Yeah, we need a lot of good thoughts and prayers tonight. I want everyone to do that. Let's switch now to Ron Carlson, who's standing by. Ron, your location.
Well, Jeff, we are in a location right now in Milwaukie. We are, believe it or not, on Oak Grove Boulevard, where just a couple of days ago these gentlemen were driving their cars, and just probably last week they were sledding down, and now what, ice skating out here too, Ron? Is that correct?
Yes.
Right here on
sledding,
near the lake? Okay.
Yeah.
A situation right now where these guys all have homes around here where they've been using this boat to get to their homes because obviously they're under several feet of water right now. Ron has a home right behind me here which has 2 feet of water inside of it. Ron, what's it like to have just, you know, a couple of days ago been driving down this street to your home and now you look over there and it's just full of water?
It's really strange. It's awesome. I can't imagine the amount of water in there.
Okay, we've obviously lost audio. Paul, I would venture to say, and this is just merely guess, probably something to do with the moisture out there.
Or the distance that wireless mic was from the camera, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
we expect these things to happen. We're following the storm coverage and the flood coverage for you. If you're just getting home or if you're just getting your power back and don't know what's happening, we're now expecting the Willamette River to reach its highest point, at least high enough to get it over the seawall tonight at about 2 a.m. And we have crews down on the river, and we're checking in with them, and we'll do so again very soon.
Okay, we have someone else on the phone now. Is this Robert Weeks?
Yes.
Hello, Robert. Where are you calling from?
Columbia County Emergency Services.
Okay, give us an update on Columbia County. What's going on?
Well, basically, we've got widespread flooding throughout the county. Vernonia and Klatskanai are completely isolated. Highway 30 is closed in several spots between Klatskanai and St. Helens. Here in St. Helens, at Rainier, at Klatskanai. Vernonia is completely out of communications with us, and we have a number that I'd like to give you for the Vernonia area residents. It's the only number they can use to call in case of an emergency. And that number is area code 503, naturally, 429-4600. And that's for the Vernonia area residents. Waters are still rising. We've got shelters activated in all the cities. And we'd like to let the folks know that if it's any question at all, we'd prefer that they just go to the shelters and ride out the storm there.
Have any idea at this point, Robert, how many people have been displaced in those communities?
Countywide, well over 1,000. We've got 200 some families in Scappoose, 150 to 200 in St. Helens, all of Vernonia, all of Klatskanai.
Somebody told us that Vernonia was literally divided by the high water. You can't even get down the center of the street there. Is that correct?
Oh, that's true. And same thing with Klatskanai. They've got 2 to 3 feet of water downtown also.
Any big trouble spot in Columbia? I know you're just inundated all over, but is there one particular area you're very concerned about, Robert?
The lowland areas, the dike areas up around Klatskanai. If it goes up anymore, they'll be in trouble.
Okay, and we have copied that phone number down for residents in Vernonia. I'll repeat it. We will get it into our screens for you folks for later, but that number once again, 429-4600. 429-4600 for you folks in Vernonia who may need some help there in Columbia County. And so, and Paul, thank you very much, Robert. And here's a local situation on some of our traffic.
I-84 east off I-5 is now closed to traffic. You cannot go that way. That's major. A lot of people use that route. It was recently expanded to multi-lanes going in that direction because of the traffic flow, but it has been closed at this hour. Going back to what Mr. Weeks told us out at Columbia County, 1,000 people displaced in Columbia County in the communities that he mentioned, and we believe the statewide total of people who have been evacuated from their homes tonight is somewhere in the area of 15,000.
15,000 friends and neighbors neighbors not being able to stay at their homes. And once again, in Vernonia, Paul, he's saying basically that's locked in there because of the floodwaters there. That number again for you folks in Vernonia, 429-4600. But problems in Klatskanai. They're afraid of the dikes down there, St. Helens and Rare. And along Highway 30 between Klatskanai and St. Helens, several trouble spots there. Traffic not being able to get through along Highway 30. So some real problems in Columbia County tonight.
Let's bring you up to the minute. We're trying to do this every 15 minutes or so to make sure you get the benefit of the most recent information we've been given. So up to the minute information is Governor Kitzhaber has been hospitalized in Salem with chest pains tonight. He is under observation at Salem Memorial. The National Guard has been deployed now to work on